So today we have been building the baby keets, who are growing fast, a bigger enclosure. So they have spent the last few weeks in this, couple of weeks I think, in this one here, which has lids that flap down, and they've been staying in there. They've been growing in there, and that's been absolutely wonderful, but they were outgrowing it a little bit. So we've given them a bit more freedom, and they are loving it. They're also discovering how to catch worms. So if I stand back a bit, what we've got is we've got a large, very, very large net that goes over everything. We've got poles around the outside like that, all the way around the outside, that are attached to the deer fencing that we had initially before, which is this larger square here. So that was keeping the chickens out of the vegetable gardens, but it wasn't going to keep the keets in to an enclosure, because they have got very, very strong wings. Even at this age, they have already flown up a few times in when something's made them jump, and we've seen what they're capable of with their wings. So having made a circular-ish space with the poles and the deer fencing, we then got the netting, which is the bird netting here. This is what you get. You put over your vegetables or over the top of your chicken or poultry enclosure to stop little birds coming in when it's avian lockdown. And what we did was we had this beautiful willow tree here that helped us, and we've attached it there, over there to the tree. And then we have these three, well, that's a pole, that's a climbing thing for the garden, as is that one at the front to hold the front up. And then we have a couple of smaller ones, one there and one at the back there, holding the back up a little bit higher. I had hoped that we had enough netting to wrap round the tree and then continue down a bit further to give it a proper circular enclosure. But unfortunately the netting did not want to stretch like that, which was a shame, but I think we did quite well. I stand back again and get a good look at it. Now, it's at times like this when you really want something to just make them jump a little bit, or for them to flish around and decide, oh, we're happy, we want to fly around. And I can tell you that they are making the most of this enclosure. They are so pleased to be out of that enclosure there. They were ready for it. And they're two silky mums who don't have the ability to fly at all, are keeping them well grounded most of the time. The Moran in the background, she has tried to sneak in a number of times. She thinks that their enclosure looks a lot of fun. She's not allowed in. She's determined to try and get in. She did get in one time, which made us aware that if she can get in, then the keets could get out. But right now she can't. Oh, we may see, there's a cat there. We may see some reaction from them. Buffy is giving her ground predator alert. But the cats are pretty good with the chickens. These keets do intrigue the cats more because they do move a lot more than the chickens do. They're very, very reactive. Nope, not going to get any reaction out of them. What a shame. I was really hoping to have something to show you then. They did get a bit confused over here earlier on because the netting comes around the back there, around the tree, and then comes around here, and half of them were on this side and half of them were on that side, and they got confused. They thought maybe they could make it through the netting. I was a bit worried that they might actually get caught up a little bit, but they didn't. Wonderful mummy Silky here showed them the way round the tree. This one is not a keet. She came out of a keet, he probably most likely, looking at the cone, but it came out of a guinea egg. The person who sold me the guinea eggs apologised like crazy and thinks that maybe their cockerel got in with the keets, or with the guineas. I have, as you know, Peking chickens myself, and they lay eggs, and so I'm well aware of what a Peking egg looks like, and I definitely didn't have a Peking egg in the bunch that was sent to me. So this sneaky little devil was not planned. There was another lavender. There's one lavender, as you can see there. Oh, they're going to go. No, yes, this little lavender here. There was another lavender, but she unfortunately, when she hatched, she had problems breathing. She was gaping a bit and not as strong as the others. Didn't eat as much. Was a lot quieter, and she did pass away last week. I was amazed she made it as long as she did. One of them had a worm earlier on from one of these little digs, and it was running around with this worm in its mouth, and the others were chasing it. It was great fun. Whatever this little one is crossed with, it's definitely not backwards with coming forward. It is no less confident than the others. A nice show of wings, but staying close to the floor. They are very well camouflaged. Okay, well, I don't think they're going to give me a flight, which is a shame because I was hoping to be able to show you that on camera. I had to make this so keep proof. with no holes or escape points they could get in, that I actually had to net myself out of this. And I went through various scenarios of how I might be able to get in. There is a point over there where I can dismantle a couple of bits of fencing and get in quite easy. It's the easiest point to get in. But what I decided to in the end was I would scatter feed in here, and I put a water trough here, which is an old cat litter tray. Not an old cat, a new cat litter tray. And I've put it here, and I can use a watering can to fill it. And if I want to empty it, I can just get it through the netting and just tip it over. They do have an old feeder in there. Their old feeder, it's not an old feeder. The feeder they were using, there is a feeder in there and a water bottle in there as well. They like going, for some reason, into the buckets and sleeping in them. So they have 2 sleep buckets and one of those sort of small animal hutch type things in there. So they've got plenty of places to go and sleep. But I did notice that since they've been let out, the couple of times they have slept, they've actually got up onto the roof here and they've just roosted along here and gone to sleep. So I think I can happily say that they are enjoying their newfound freedom, and hopefully this will keep them going for a little bit longer before. I'm really hoping that this might keep them through until they're fully grown, but I don't know. Any guinea fowl enthusiasts out there want to advise me, is this going to be a big enough enclosure to see them through until adulthood, or once they get to adolescence am I going to have to free them? So the chickens have all got, they have this space, it goes down there and it comes down the edge here and comes out here, and then in this shed they've got their coops here and here, and then out through this is one door here, and then there's another door at the other end, and then there's a big yard out there that's probably, it's as wide as this all the way to, probably about the same size actually. So it's the same width and as long as this all the way through. So they have that, and then in the morning and the afternoon we actually let them out into the garden at the back as well, so they have even more space. So the guineas are, because I've got the cats and they like things that go flap flap, they're not too bothered with the chickens because they don't go flap flap very often, but I've seen them very interested in these guys, which is why I'm keeping them extra safe. Plus I know they can fly over there because I saw them flying up and they hit the top of this earlier on, and I thought, wow, for little chicks that's very strong wings. But they are meant to be very strong flyers, aren't they? I wonder how they feel about being raised by 2 silky hens who can barely get off the floor. Anyway, this is my new enclosure for my new, try and stand back far enough to get a full view. So that's one edge of it, that's the other edge of it. So it goes from there to there, and from here to over there, and from the ground up to about here, petering off at the sides. So yes, I would very much appreciate some feedback from some guinea fowl owners to tell me how long I might be able to keep them in an enclosure like this before I have to look at something a little different. Until then, I am so pleased that they are happy and chilled and enjoying their new home.